É claro que todo mundo já ouviu falar do caso da Madeleine McCann, né, que desapareceu há vários anos e nunca foi encontrada e o negócio nunca souberam dizer quem tinha sido culpado. Bom, existe um principal suspeito que se chama Christian B. E a história do Christian e se ele pode ser realmente o culpado do desaparecimento da Madeleine tá numa série documental do Universal Plus. São 3 episódios. É bem interessante a forma como o jornalista, o investigador, vai atrás desse caso e de todas as pessoas que tinham uma ligação com o Christian B.
It's a crime that has haunted one family for over 15 years.
Please, if you have Madeleine, let her come home to her mummy, daddy, brother and sister.
E no final ele dá o seu veredito, vamos dizer assim. Eu tive a oportunidade de conversar com Ed Kellie, que é o produtor da série documental, e foi incrível porque foi justamente no dia em que o Christian B foi solto da prisão por um outro caso, por causa de uma outra coisa que ele fez de errado. Vale dar uma olhadinha no documentário e também, é claro, aqui na minha entrevista com o Ed Kellie. I have to start this conversation because today, of all days,
Of course. What a day.
yeah, Christian B was released from prison because of another case. And so, what's next? What do you think? You guys are going after him?
I think we made the documentary with a very, very open mind to investigate what actually the evidence was to connect him to the case. And we expected that we would find more than we actually did find. Because the German prosecutors were always saying, this is the person, you know, we're so close. And we made this documentary 2 years ago where everybody, you know, if you didn't believe that he was the guilty party, you were somehow kind of crazy. So I think actually in the time since then, because the German prosecutors in particular have put so many resources into trying to connect him and just not being able to, I think it does make you question whether people have been on a bit of a wild goose chase for the last 4 or 5 years, focusing solely on this person. And I think our documentary kind of was a bit ahead of its time in that respect.
You intend to do another documentary based on the fact that now he's out and you can talk to him?
That's work in progress. We shall see. We shall see how that goes.
In 2020 came the biggest breakthrough in 13 years. German authorities announced they had a prime suspect.
The suspect is a 43-year-old German.
I think actually the thing that our documentary did that was different was we wrote directly to him. And so we had, you know, 2-3 letters from him detailing what he did and what he claims that he did that we could then test and see if we could corroborate or doubt. We tracked down people who knew him, were his friends, were his criminal associates as well. We tracked down the places where he worked. We tracked down the places where he committed horrific child abuse offences. And so we were able to really see firsthand who he was. And to be clear, he is a horrible, nasty man who's done some unforgivable things and committed really, really horrific crimes. But is he the person that abducted Madeleine McCann? You know, you'll have to watch the documentary, see how it comes out. But I think we show the evidence for and against that probably better than anything I've seen anyway.
I'm Mark Williams-Thomas, a former British detective turned journalist with over 30 years' experience investigating some of the biggest cases in the UK and worldwide.
Why do you think the case of Madeleine McCann still have everybody very curious about what happened, because we know that there are many kids that disappear, and it doesn't have like this media frenzy that the case of Madeleine has. So why do you think people still want to know what happened?
I honestly don't know why Madeleine individually has kind of captured people's attention in the way that the disappearance, tragically, of some other children hasn't in quite the same way. You know, as a parent, I can say a young child being taken is your absolute worst nightmare. So I think that story is something which is just, it lives in people, and they desperately want to know. You know, I suppose this particular case is one where you know, for these poor family, that awful nightmare came true.
Portuguese prosecutors have officially made a German man a suspect over the disappearance of Madeleine McCann.
When was the moment that you decided that let's do a documentary about Christian B? Why did you decide to go there?
I instinctively always felt there was more to this story. I thought that what was being reported, I just felt like we weren't being shown everything. We weren't being shown the whole truth. Mark Williams-Thomas, the investigator, he felt very strongly the same way as well. We also knew that Christian Bruckner in the past had spoken out to media before and made his you know, opinions clear. He wanted to share his opinions, and we just thought it would be fascinating. The police haven't asked him anything because they can't charge, or not officially. It became clear the police were never going to ask him anything because they wouldn't arrest him for this particular case. And I don't think there's ever been a case where an individual has been so publicly labeled as a suspect without any police charge being made. We thought that was a very compelling reason to find out exactly what evidence there was, and why is it that on the one hand the German police are prepared for him to be associated forever with this case and yet not arrest him. We just thought there was a mystery there, and we wanted to try and dig into it.
Just days after Madeleine was abducted, I was on the ground reporting.
The marina offers an easy access very quickly out to sea.
Thank you for this interview, and hope we learn more about Christian B in the future from you guys.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'll be testing their evidence, uncovering new witnesses, and pursuing a meeting with the prime suspect himself to find out if this man is the missing link in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann.